Hello, my lighting sucks. We're just gonna ignore that. I'm gonna read something. Uh, if this completely explains why I do this channel. In a world of depression, people just don't see you. This is by Diane Yvonne Nichols. In a world that feels increasingly detached, it's easy to find ourselves surrounded by people who seem to see everything but us. We walk among crowds, sit in rooms full of others, and yet, despite the physical presence, there's an overwhelming sense of invisibility. It's as if depression, not just a personal battle, but a societal one, has created a veil that separates us from the world, rendering us unseen and unheard. In the grip of depression, people often feel disconnected from those around them. This isolation doesn't always manifest as physical solitude. You can be surrounded by friends, family, colleagues, and still feel profoundly alone. It's the kind of loneliness that comes from a deep sense of being misunderstood, unnoticed, or worse yet, ignored. You can speak your thoughts aloud and yet watch them vanish into the air. Like whispers in the wind, the weight of this silence can be suffocating. But the issue doesn't lie solely with the person who feels invisible. It's also a reflection of the world we live in. We live in a society that has normalized emotional withdrawal. We become so conditioned to look away from discomfort, to ignore the things that make us uneasy, that we no longer know how to see one another truly. The act of noticing someone, of genuinely seeing them in their vulnerability and pain, has become a rarity. It's easy to dismiss this lack of connection as a simple consequence of busy lives, or to chalk it up to the digital age where interactions are fleeting and superficial. But there's more to it than that. The world has become a place where emotional labor is undervalued and empathy is often an afterthought. People are quick to share opinions, judgments, and complaints, but slow to offer a kind word, to pause, to just listen. For those battling depression, this lack of visibility can feel like a cruel double edged sword. The person struggling often wishes to be noticed, to have someone reach out, to make eye contact, and to ask, "Are you okay?" But it's as if there's a wall between them and the people they encounter. The harder they try to be seen, the more invisible they become. This is especially true in environments where emotional expression is frowned upon or minimized. In many workplaces or social circles, there's an unspoken rule to put on a brave face, to blend in, and to not burden others with your troubles. We've internalized the idea that our pain is a personal issue, that it's something to be dealt with privately or hidden away. In the process, we often lose the opportunity to truly connect with others in a meaningful way. But the problem goes beyond personal frustration. The consequences of this widespread invisibility are far reaching. When people feel unseen, they begin to question their worth. They start to believe that they are irrelevant, that their struggles don't matter, and that no one would care if they disappeared. The slow erosion of self-worth is one of the most damaging effects of this emotional neglect. It feeds the cycle of depression, making it harder for people to reach out for help and harder for others to see them when they do. It's a vicious cycle that perpetuates itself. People, numbed by their own struggles or simply out of habit, overlook the subtle signs of distress in others. They don't see the hunched shoulders, the distracted eyes, the quiet silences that speak volumes. And so those who are hurting retreat further, unable to break free from the prison in their own loneliness. The good news is, breaking the cycle is possible. It requires both personal effort and societal change. We need to create a culture that values emotional presence as much as physical presence. We need to foster spaces where it's okay to be vulnerable, where people can share their feelings without fear of judgment or dismissal. We need to train ourselves to notice the subtle signs that someone might be struggling, the faint sighs, the long pauses, the body language that says more than words ever could. On an individual level, we all have the power to see the people around us. It starts with simple acts, asking someone how they are doing and waiting for a real answer. offering a kind word when someone seems withdrawn, making space for people to be honest without fear of being ignored or brushed aside. A small gesture of compassion can break through the thick fog of loneliness and remind someone that they matter. If you're someone who feels invisible, remember that your experience is valid. Your pain is real, and even if the world doesn't always see you, there are people who do, and they want you to be there for you, and they want to be there for you. It might take time to find those people, but they are out there. The more we reach out, the more we create a space for others to do the same. In a world that feels indifferent, we can still choose to be seen. We can choose to see others, and together we can begin to dismantle the walls that keep us apart, one person, one moment at a time. That's beautiful. And that is why I started this channel, to find a tribe. And I was deep into it today. It's cold. I made a video, but I didn't post it because the cold is hard for me. And it's really hard when you don't really even have anybody you can reach out to. Just know that you're not alone in this world. I'm out here too, dealing with the same shit. Just a different day. Well, tomorrow's Sunday, so I hope everybody had a good weekend. Tomorrow's the beginning of my week. Well, the tail end of it, actually. My week runs through Wednesday. Yeah. Wednesday through Tuesday, which is weird, but hope everybody has a good turkey day this year. I will be working, because my company only gives us 4 holidays a year. Of course, it's the major important ones. Thankfully, my kids are grown and it don't really matter. I feel for the people who have children, though. So, I shared a couple of funny videos on Facebook today, and that's about all I've done. And I seen a video about songs that are turning 50 in 2025. Let's see. Aerosmith, AC/DC, quite a few. Anyway, that was a very deep message, and I'm going to let that sink in. And I'll be back in a few days. Still not getting views, but I'm not going to give up. Somewhere out there, there's a tribe that needs some fellowship too. All right, I'm going to go. Peace out.